All right, we are live. Let me click one other button to get this thing going. And oh, it's working over there. Going live on Instagram too, y'all, through this application for the first time. So Instagram, I don't know what y'all gonna see. Well, we'll deal with that. We'll deal with that later, but it looks like it's working. I don't know. I think it might look a little bit weird. But anyway, yep, it said we're live on Instagram. Let's see what's going on. Uh, I don't know. We'll see. So that is a plus. It's been a minute since I have brought somebody onto the platform to go live in this manner. So I'm really kind of excited. And I call myself, opening up my platform to someone I hold near and dear to my heart because she deserves. And my people need to know her and need to hear what she has to say. But it ended up blessing me in the same way, or in a bigger way, as I was preparing for this, because I realized how much I love these kinds of conversations. Not only because I'm connected to some of the most amazing people that God had the audacity to create, but because there's so many different conversations and so much expertise that my people, my inner circle, has, and people that I'm meeting on this journey of entrepreneurship and spreading the good gospel of living your absolute best life as a life and leadership coach. So I am delighted to have one of my good sister friends live with me tonight. Before I introduce her and let her tell a little bit more about herself, I want to take a moment to introduce myself if you happen to be new to me. I am Danielle, the coach. I'm a certified life and leadership coach, and I help my clients navigate the demands of life, leadership, and business. A lot of times that looks like helping my clients who are entrepreneurs that are still juggling a 9 to 5, helping them to create their corporate exit strategy so that they can quit without regret. I have the esteemed honor of having Christina Massalay, who is a CPA, joining me tonight to have a conversation around for the love of money. This is important to me because not only is this the conversation around money and wealth important, especially culturally, during Black History Month as Black people in Black History Month. But it's also February is a month of love, right? So I don't know when you'll see this. If you're catching a replay, that's cool. But we're actually going live in the month of February when there's a lot of talk about love, and Black history and all of that stuff too, right? But one of the richest forms of love is self love,
Mm.
and I think a way that we overlook love is taking care of our finances, right? And positioning ourselves to live a life that we love, right? Because we took the time to love on ourselves and position ourselves to have what we want when we want it. So that
Mhm.
being said, Christina, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. First of all, I want to just say thank you so much to Danielle, the coach. I know her as D or Danielle. And I'm just thankful and honored that you would invite me on your platform to actually speak. And as Danielle mentioned, February is the month of love. And so we will get on a little bit about relationships, but not in the way you think, relationships with your money. And
Right.
so, yeah, thank you so much for just bringing me on. So, as Danielle mentioned, my name is Christina Massalay, and before I get on to my professional side of life, I'm a woman of faith, and that's my faith is very paramount in my life. I've worked in financial services for over 15 years at various companies, including PricewaterhouseCoopers, Fortress Investment Group, and Credit Suisse, where I was for more than 10 years actually. And as Danielle mentioned, I'm a certified public accountant, a CPA. I passed my certified financial planning CFP exam. I am a fiduciary, and so that means I put your needs as the client ahead of my needs. And in 2018, while working at Credit Suisse, I started Mass Financial Management with the goal of helping everyday people or the masses to identify their relationships with money and to also address the root causes of the behaviors that may be limiting their potential for reaching their financial goals. And so that's just a little bit about myself.
So in short, Christina is a bad mama jamma. She won't say it, but I'm gonna say it for her. But Christina is on here being modest, y'all. But if you didn't read between the lines, she is a force in the financial world to be reckoned with a wealth of experience and expertise. And she also has gotten, like many of us, bitten by the entrepreneurship bug. So you slid that part in there on us, right? Talking about MFM, Mass Financial Management. So let's talk about your entrepreneurship journey, and that's important to me, of course. And I know those that really enjoy like the content that I put out and the people that I bring on the platform because they have been bitten by it too, and but they're on different in different phases of the
Right.
journey, right? Some are aspiring, some have dabbled, some have a toe in, some have one foot in, some have both feet in, but still juggling the 9 to 5. And some have also already taken the leap and like dove in head first and they're figuring it out just like us, right? So what's your entrepreneurship story? Like what did it for you to make you want to expand outside of working in the private industry to doing something on your own?
Well, Danielle, you worked for the FBI. And many of you who are listening, if you're listening to Danielle, you may be a mid-career professional or you could be a senior professional, and you're in that boat where you're looking at that computer screen in your cubicle, in your office, and then one day, like myself, I literally was sitting at my computer, and I just remember saying, I can't do this anymore. And so that for me, and I was working on a particular assignment, and just to backtrack, I never had a desire to become an entrepreneur. So this is not something that I wanted to do. I actually thought that I would work at PwC and become a partner. I and when I got to my third year, I was just like, oh no, I don't want to become a partner. I don't want to do this. And so you begin to see what it all involves and what it entails, and not only that, where your passion lies. And I saw that that wasn't my passion, and so I figured I'd get another corporate job, and that I would follow the rubric, right? I would follow the seniors ahead of me, some mentors, some sponsors, and then work up the corporate ladder. And then, man, the ladder just kept getting longer, and not only did the ladder keep getting longer, the ladder began to move, and I also began to move, right? Because I began to shift in the things that I wanted and the things that I desired and the things that I was passionate about. And so I just was like, okay, I'm a woman of faith. I already mentioned that. And so I was in prayer constantly, like, Lord, what is it that I should be doing? And I remember one morning I woke up and I heard literally Jehovah Jireh. This is a true story. And then that same morning, and I remember saying, Lord, okay, yeah, I know, my provider, like Danielle just said. It was like, okay. And then shortly after that, I would do this daily devotion. And so I went into the daily devotion at that time. And I literally, whatever day it was, I went to it. And I remember sitting on my yoga mat and I meditated, and I looked up and I said, Lord, before I started the devotion, it would be very funny if what I heard in this devotion, what I heard earlier is in this devotion. And literally I opened it up and the devotion opened up, and the topic was the Lord will provide. And it literally took me to the scriptures in the Bible about Abraham, and the rest was history. Anyway, the week before that, I was walking around with like my resignation letter in my book bag. I carry a book bag. I just felt like it was time for me to leave. I had already started mass financial management, and I was working on it on the side at that time. And
Mm-hmm.
so but I had a mortgage, I had bills, I had responsibilities and family responsibilities and obligations. And so that's more so of what was holding me back, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I was scared, honestly, because it's not something that, it's very uncertain. You're walking into uncertain territory. My corporate job was certain. I was up for promotion to director. I had put in my my paperwork, so it just didn't make any sense. And so it didn't make sense on paper. It didn't make sense to the people that I work with. But
Yeah.
I knew I had my confirmation, if that makes any sense. And that was what started it off for me. So I I tried to quit, and then I was offered like part time and some other things. So I tried to resign several times, and it all worked out. I eventually did do that, and go full time mass financial management. But the journey was very personal for me because, like I said, this was something that I didn't intend on becoming an entrepreneur. I always knew that I wanted to help individuals to better manage their finances. That was
Right.
always something in the back of my mind. But I thought it was something that I was just going to do on a corporate level, and then one day maybe open up something and help people to do this. And so it was just like, okay, no, you're going to do this full time, and you're going to do it now. You're not going to do it 20 years later after or anything of that nature. So I don't know if anyone else found themselves in that boat, but that's a little bit about my journey of being afraid and then just the Lord pushing me out of the boat.
Man, listen, crazy faith is all I gotta say. Like, I mean, if there were two words to sum up like what it takes, but one thing that I love that you said is that like it made no sense at all. it,
No,
it
it didn't
made
make
no
any
sense.
sense.
Like I'm in the pipeline, to be director. The math is mathing, but then it's just like I'm feeling this tug to come up to make this move, to make this shift, in a direction that is just incomprehensible to like
Yeah,
the human mind, right?
right.
Um, and so I know because this is the work that I do is supporting my clients. Like there are patterns and themes to, especially when it's aligned with your purpose and when like
Right,
God is in the midst of it, right?
right.
And there's no way for me to get around it. I tell people all the time, there's a sermon that I used to watch like when I was on the back end of my career and I was feeling the tug, I was frustrated, jaded, all of the things, right? Had a 2 hour commute, no longer love my job. And there's a sermon by Michael Todd. Now, regardless of how you feel about the brother, right? This sermon got your girl through. I was doing 2 and 3 a days at my desk, but it's his sermon called Marked.
Mm,
So in
mm,
that season, this is pre Crazy Faith and that whole
hmm
amazing series, but
hmm
Marked spoke to my soul.
Wow,
Um, so I totally get it. Like it's
that's
par for the
awesome.
course, and I love interviewing my friends because even though we talk and we have our own relationship, right? I still learn new stuff about y'all that y'all don't share. We just have to talk about that offline. But I got your number, Christina. Okay.
And just for anybody thinking that, like, I didn't get one confirmation. I'm the type of person that I go back to God, like, really, like, is this really what you want me to do? Is this really what you mean? Like, on what date? So I had to get multiple confirmations before I really stepped out. So that whole crazy faith thing, it was like I was literally pushed where it was like I had to believe that it was God the way that I was being communicated to. So I can't fully take credit for just like, oh, you know what, I woke up one day and I just walked out. It was like I had to get multiple confirmations, but it still took strength to take the steps.
For sure, for sure. So let's talk about like the elephant in the room now, right? Money. And so I know I've seen a
Yeah.
number of people who work in like the financial realm, financial coaches, financial advisors. I know you're a wealth advisor and a business advisor, right? But I know sometimes people have the stories kind of go one of two ways. It's either they've always been good with money and it's been like their gift, or they had like a literal come to Jesus moment, at rock bottom and worked their way out of whatever conundrum or situation that they were in and put themselves in a much better financial position, learn from their mistakes, learn the error of their ways, learn from what they were never taught by anybody else that they had to learn the hard way. And they position themselves um, to have the wealth that is their birthright, right? But then also to lend a hand back to reach back and teach other people. So what's your money story?
So that's a whole lot. That's a whole lot. But for me, my money story is it's a little bit in the middle. So for me, I when we were my mom's a single parent and she was raising myself and my younger brother, and and I was about 13 or 14 years old, and we got evicted from where we were living. And I remember growing up, and the term now, it didn't exist, or I didn't hear it or know of it at the time, but it's called financial enmeshment. And that's what I learned later in life that I was dealing with as a child, because I remember the lights would get cut off, cable would get cut off. I would see the rent in arrears notice under the door. So I was always worried about money. Are we going to have enough? Can we pay our bills? How can I help to support the family as soon as possible so that I can help give money to pay bills and or to pay toward rent or pay the whole rent? So that was my mindset, because I wanted and needed security and stability. And so we ultimately, if you see enough rent arrears notices under the door, at some point they're coming for you. And so at some point they came for us, and we were to get evicted. And I just remember crying, and I remember seeing my mom cry, and it literally like broke me, because I know that she's educated, she's not ignorant, but she didn't know about money. It's not something that we were taught. And so I remember thinking, like, where are we gonna go? Where are we gonna live? My grandmother, we have a grandmother, but her house is full and things like that. And it's just like, what's going to happen to us? And so we ultimately went and moved in with my grandmother. It was the three of us in one bedroom at that time. But I remember literally when I saw my mom cry that day, and I cried also, like tears of buckets. I literally vowed to myself that I will never live paycheck to paycheck. I didn't know how I would do it, because I wanted to be a rapper, y'all, when I was growing up. And so I know, a far cry from being a rapper, but I didn't know how I would do it at the time. But I just remember making that vow, like, okay, what do I need to do? And I guess that's partially why I became a CPA, because it's more of a safe route and security, right? And stability, where it's like, I remember hearing my accounting professor in college, like, you'll always be able to find a job, and I was like, oh, I need to sign up for that. And so and so that's pretty much where my money story began. So it literally was, how can I help, right? Help my family. And then there has to be a better way. Is there a more excellent way, if that makes any sense?
Right.
And I was just more so trying to help the family out. And then later I was just like, I have to help other people as well.
Yeah. So I know in our community, right, Black community primarily, there is a lot of conversation around like wealth generation, generational wealth, like
Hmm.
closing the wealth gap. So they're like buzzwords, and I think it's a positive thing that they are a part of our vocabulary and we're thinking about them.
Oh
But
yeah.
I know with everything, there are myths and misconceptions that come along with information gaps. And so, based on your experience and your expertise, what are some of those myths and misconceptions, if any, around like wealth and wealth planning that you would love to put an end to?
Yeah, so wealth. First of all, what is wealth? When people say that term, and I look at it as something it's a holistic term. So it doesn't only include money; it includes your health, it includes your well-being, your lifestyle. There's a whole bunch of things that we can throw in that definition of wealth. And I feel that right now, to be honest, a lot of people use it loosely, and it's just part of everyday parlance, in the sense of, oh, I want to leave an inheritance, or I want to transfer generational wealth. But do people want to do the work that it actually is required to do that, right?
Mhm.
Because I've seen people, and we've all heard stories probably as well, but we see clients and people who make less than the quote unquote six figures, and they're able to save more than their counterpart making $300,000 a year, right? And they're able to save and scurry money away and invest, or maybe even have a side hustle and work other jobs, just to be able to create a legacy, right? Or
Right.
an actual legacy. And so some of the myths that I hear from people are that some people believe that it's not achievable, it is very achievable for you to reach your financial goals. But remember, your financial goals are not your cousin's financial goals. Your financial goals are not your coworkers' financial goals. And that's another thing that we have to steer people, because clients will come and it's like, oh, my friend is doing such and such, but oh, this is the financial plan that we set up for you. Are these your same goals? Right? You don't, your friend may have different goals and they may have different risk tolerance and different risk capacity, right, to invest and do certain things to reach where they're actually trying to go. So I would encourage people, one, it is achievable for you to reach your financial goals if you start. There has to be a point where you actually start. There has to be a point where you put into your mind and there's some kind of positive affirmations, and financial mindfulness that is circulated where I can achieve this. This is possible. There's financial abundance for me.
Mhm.
There's financial wealth is attainable for me. Whatever that actually looks like for you. Myself and Mina Black, who I'll be talking about a bit later. She's awesome, by the way, and I'm working with her on some things. And she talks about the enough score. What is your enough score? What is enough money for you to meet your financial goals? And that's very, very individualistic. So I just want to encourage everyone that it is achievable, it is possible for you to reach your financial goals if you have a financial plan and if you're executing on that plan. And a lot of times we don't see people starting, right? Or
Mhm.
once they start to lose momentum and then not actually executing on the plan to actually follow through. And sometimes lifestyle creep comes in. And lifestyle creep is when you start making more money and then your expenses all of a sudden go up because you start buying more things, right? And so now, can you actually save money? No, because now you made an extra $25,000 and then you went out and bought a new car. Did you need a new car? No.
I feel like the judgment is at an all-time high right now, Chris. What's going on? You telling me I can't keep up with the Joneses? Like, what's happening over here?
I mean, you can.
Jokes. It's just
However, what do you want to accomplish, right? At
that's
the end of
real.
the
That's
day,
real.
the questions come back to the person. It's like you can choose to do that. You can also say, I deserve this. That's like one of my favorite. You do deserve that. But then you got to ask yourself, do I deserve it now? Is it the
Yeah.
time for me? Is it the time for me to have that? And I'm also a big proponent of balance, because I hear so many stories, and like one of the things I'm actually praying against is like all these diseases that people are getting, like cancer and all kinds of things. Like we gotta find something to, like, get the cure. Whoever needs money, please, you billionaires, give these people money to find the cure, find cures and things like that. But by the grace of God, we are still here right now, right? So it's not promised that any of us will be sitting here next year or anything like that. So you have to enjoy yourself along the way,
Yeah.
but you don't have to at 365. It's not it's
In,
not like
in moderation, right? In moderation.
Whole Foods 365 market, right? Every day of the year you're balling out of control, right? So anyway, it all
Moderation is
depends.
key.
It's all about moderation. So
Got it. No, that was good. I know that resonated with at least one person listening, because I mean it's real, especially the lifestyle creep. Especially my high achieving go getters. That are out here getting it, climbing that ladder, making more money, but don't have anything to show for it.
And it's just
But
about a strategy. It's just about a strategy. Like, because literally once the funny thing is, like, once people are actually start and they start getting momentum, that's when they start getting really excited about the possibilities and seeing their investments grow, seeing actually things changing for them, and they get excited. But if you don't actually start that process, then you're constantly feeling like, oh, I can't do this, or I can't do that. Or the other misconception is like, I don't make enough money. And
yeah,
so sometimes we don't make enough money, right? We're starting out, there's something that happened, there's a huge event or a trigger that happened. You have to put out a huge outlay of cash. Okay, that happened, and then we recalibrate at some point, right?
Yeah.
And so, what are the ways that we can bring in some additional income? What are some of the ways we can reduce some of our expenses? Subscriptions alone, people are spending so much money on a lot of subscriptions, and then they'll look through and say, oh, actually, I don't need that. Or when I'm looking through some of my clients, their expenses, because that's really where it gets nitty gritty. Folks will say, oh no, I only spend X amount on this a year, a month, but they're actually not looking at it annually. So then when they see how much they're spending on things annually, and then they realize, oh, well, actually, I never looked at this. I never looked at my expenses annually. I never prepared a budget for my family. I never did X, Y, and Z. That's when things begin to click and trigger, and then we're like, hey, we can free up this percentage here. We could free up this amount here. Now that could work for you here and gain 9%, or this can
Yeah.
be put here and gain 5%. And then when you see how all those percentages add up based on a strategy, and then over time, they're just like, wow, I wish I would have started this sooner.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, just get started. Just get started by any means necessary. So speaking of getting started, right? I know that there with these conversations around wealth and financial planning and um, credit and money management and all of that stuff, right? There's a number of different titles that financial
Yeah.
experts have. And I know you carry the title of a wealth advisor. So what's the difference between a wealth advisor and a financial planner, if anything?
Right. So that's a good question. So a lot of times people actually use a lot of these terms interchangeably, right?
Okay.
So it really and it depends because there are some CFPs like certified financial planners who are actually managing money as well as doing financial plans and analysis for people. And there's some people who are primarily they're doing financial plans for you. They're not actually managing any money. So sometimes
Mm,
you have to ask the question like what do your services actually entail, right? That will be good when you're meeting up with someone to find out what exactly are they offering to you.
right.
Myself, what I cover, I do investment management, which is also known as asset management. So someone comes to me and they have money that they would like for me to manage for them, meaning invest it into a particular strategy for them, monitor it, etc. That's the investment management piece. But I also do holistic financial planning as well, right? In
Mm,
terms of someone comes and they want a financial plan or they want an a la carte plan. So when we're talking about financial planning and holistically, we're talking about looking at you from a retirement perspective, right? How can we get you ready for retirement? Do you have adequate insurance? What does your estate plan look like? It's your entire financial house. Are you optimized from a tax perspective, right? Um,
got you.
how do things look for you just overall from your overall coverage? So it's literally holistic. So you want to ask whoever you're looking at as a financial advisor or an investment manager or a wealth advisor, what are your services? And that's how you will be able to see exactly what they're covering because sometimes they're used interchangeably.
Okay, that's good to know. Thinking about like the experience from that mid-career professional or entrepreneur that is kind of like feeling the squeeze and it's like this discomfort because they don't know that they're doing the right things or maybe they feel like they're not doing the right things or they haven't gotten started. um and there's a lot of things like swirling around like their money, their finances, where they think they are on the wealth spectrum and how far they gotta go, right? So when people find you, like when your clients find you before they become clients, what are some of the thoughts and feelings that they express to you, like that they've had before finding you, before like deciding that you are their wealth advisor?
Yeah, so that's a good question. A lot of times people feel like they don't know where to start. They don't know where to start. They're like, I have this account, I have that account. Things are disorganized. So people need that financial organization.
Mhm.
People, the jargon throws people off sometimes, right? The financial jargon. Okay, I don't understand this. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Um, People don't really understand what do I need really, how to analyze their finances. Okay, where am I? So how many people actually know if you they did this? They do surveys and people go around. What percentage of Americans know their net worth? If you were to just walk up to people on the street and ask them, what is your net worth? People may not be able to tell you. Most people won't. If you go up to someone and ask them, how much are your expenses annually? People will not be able to tell you that. Even some people won't even be able to tell you monthly, right? They'll be able to tell you most likely their car payment, what they pay for their car payment monthly, because people who love their cars and things of that nature. But that intimate relationship with their money, that
Yeah.
is usually missing, right? And then, okay, how can I actually optimize my money so that it actually works for me? And that's the game changer, where it's like, we see clients who come hundreds of $1,000s in cash. And it's like you can get at least 5% on your money, right? And so on cash. And so why is it sitting just in a checking account and it's not
Right.
in a money market account or a high yield savings account or something like that? And so we'll actually provide them with the solutions where they actually at the end of the year they see what the differences are. It doesn't even take a year. You see it right away. And so the reactions are more so, um, it's powerful because one of the things that I like and that I see is I I like transformation, right? So mass financial management, we're created to build trust in the financial services system, and we want to provide transparency in the financial services industry, and we want to create transformation, right? And those are the three T's that we go by. And when you see the lives of the clients transform, and they will tell us like, wow, I just didn't know. And you see the reactions, you hear the reactions on calls, you see them on the virtual calls or in person, and it's cool.
I love it. I just got a text message from somebody. They said, Danielle, I love this live, baby. I love Listen,
That's
so
awesome.
first of all, I wish I had you before I took the leap when I had all that money sitting in that bank account, right? But I always tell people like, I wish I knew then what I know now, right? While I was just stacking money, because I could, because I had the disposable income, right? But I also know that if I probably have moved a different way, I may not have taken the leap, because when I took the leap, it was because I knew what my financial runway was, because what I
Yeah.
could see in my bank account.
Mm-hmm.
And it gave me that extra confidence, right? To like, okay, I can survive if I don't bring in $1 for this amount of time, right?
Yeah.
But again, ignorance is bliss. I just didn't know what I didn't know, but based on what I did know and a little whatever amount of financial education I had up until then. And I praise God for my parents. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know where my mother got it from, but she had a daughter that listens. Thank God I wasn't hard headed. So, what the things that she did instill in me, I listened.
Awesome.
Um, I just listened, and I'm so thankful for that, um, from her and from my parents collectively, because that positioned me to be able to do some things and be able to have, what we call FU money. It's just like, listen, you need me more than I need you. Don't play with it, or play with it if you want to, because I am not, bound to this place. Like, I got money, I can do things, and I can still survive and be okay. And I actually did it twice, right? But what I also know is that I have personally worked with you, and something that I loved about one particular exchange we had. Now, this was after I had taken the leap, and I'm watching the bank account dwindle, because I'm out here willing and dealing, figuring this thing out. And you had me open up everything, and you gave me your had your expert eyes on it, and you were like, okay, D, this is where we're at, and you're like, it's okay. And so for me, there was some shame, because
Mm-hmm.
my money story up until then had been like A1. I got money in the bank. My credit thankfully has always been great. Even in the midst of, entrepreneurship and being my own bank at times. But there was this piece that I got around my money and my financial acumen when it came to working with you. And like that, I already loved and adored you as my homegirl,
Mhm.
as my sister
Mhm.
friend. But like as a wealth advisor in that moment,
Mhm.
I was just like, oh my gosh, like you can't
Mhm.
even put a price on this peace of mind that she's given me to let me know that, like, first of all, you're not broken. Second of all, you're good. Third of all, this is what you got to do. And fourth of all, I got you. Like, you don't have to figure this thing out by yourself.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm just bringing tears to my eyes because it had my nerves shot for a while. Just feeling like I think I need some other eyes on this because I'm juggling a lot. I'm carrying a lot as an entrepreneur, full time entrepreneur.
Mhm. Yep.
I got a mortgage. Thankfully that was all I had, leaving, the job, no other debt before then. But still, it just felt like a lot, and I didn't feel like I was as much in control as I
Mhm.
was before. And you
Yep.
were like, when I tell you a godsend, God sent her. Okay, He
To
already had
God
her
be the
in
glory.
alignment
To God be the glory. I mean,
beforehand.
that piece that you talk about, I just want to just caveat to everybody out there. I don't know how many people are listening, and I mean, like I started off talking about my faith, like to God be the glory for that piece. So one thing I tell people, I'm not for everybody. I pray with my clients. I pray for my clients, and I get downloads for my clients, right? And so it's not something that I take lightly. And what Danielle shared, we literally, so Mina Black is with in the Black Wealth, a wealth management company as well, and she and I have been working together on some presentations, and we did a presentation last week, and it was just so powerful. Once we had level set at a certain point in the room, and this happens with a lot of people where there was breakthroughs where you saw there were women like in the midst of it breaking down in tears, not because of they can't do this, or that they were literally getting breakthroughs in that moment from what they were learning about. And what you realize is that, as Daniel mentioned, a lot of people are ashamed and they're embarrassed about where they are financially. And it's not to their fault, right? Because a lot of people, they didn't know about this information, they didn't know how to do it, they didn't get the education. And so we're here to help people. Okay, we can't unscramble eggs. Once I scramble those eggs, put my turkey bacon in it, no cheese these days, and put it on my wrap. I can't unscramble it. And so this is where we are, and now we're moving forward, right? And it's just like so important that that's also a trick and deception to keep people trapped. Do not stay in that state because you feel embarrassed and ashamed. You need to go to somebody that you trust, I would say, who can actually help you, right? Because you don't want to stay in that place and then you're still not setting yourself up for success. So once you become aware of the information, find a trusted financial advisor, a trusted wealth advisor, someone that you can relate to and who can actually help you.
Listen, amen. So, most of my like the audience that I've curated are mid-career professionals
Yep.
who are just over the 9 to 5 in the career that they have found themselves in, right? And may have curated themselves over time, education, just taking the steps, climbing the ladder, doing whatever they do. And they've hit this wall that I call the mid career crisis, right?
Mm.
So now they are looking, trying to see over top of the wall, like what's on the other side.
Yep.
Do I care to even scale it? Do I want to just suffer in silence and just wait it out? Or do I think that I, could be as successful for myself as I have been for everybody else that I've devoted my time and my life to all these years? So for those that are considering the leap, right? And those who've already taken it, right? But they're looking at bank accounts daily. As your girl Rachel Rogers instructs us to do, look at your money every day. Caveat: you are the reason that I know about Rachel Rogers. So there is this. You told me about Rachel. I find that God sends people and things my way before I'm ready. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's nice. Thanks. I'll check it out. And then, like, weeks or months later, it's just like, oh, wait, I'm interested in it. Oh, wait, they told me about this. So that was my whole Rachel Rogers experience, right? And you sent it to me just real. Hey, D, I think you should check this out. I think you need this. We should all be millionaires. And yes, we should all be millionaires, right? But I wasn't ready for it at the time. But my goodness, when I finally dove in and read the book, I'm like, Christina was trying to tell me. I know, God, you gave her to me because you speak to me through her. I should have just listened in the moment, but I wasn't ready. But one of the things Rachel says is to look at your money every day, right? So those that are looking at their money every day and they're just like, I'm waiting on a Hail Mary or I need some help. What what is some advice that you would give to those individuals that are in those particular positions right now that are considering the leap or maybe have already taken it?
Yeah, I mean, so let's for those who are considering the leap, for everyone I was just talking to someone this week and I said, what is your why? You need to know what your why is. If you don't know your why, then it will be easy for you to revert back and or for you to be very frustrated. You're going to be frustrated regardless, but it's a different level of frustration if you don't know what your reason is, why you're actually doing that business, why you're doing it. Like Danielle, she's called to do her business. I literally felt I was called from the Lord to to do this, to bring some level of integrity and honesty into financial services, right? And other things as well, just to use it as a financial ministry, etc. And so you really have to know that, because on those days where it looks bleak, because they will come for all of us. They have come. You begin questioning, like, why am I doing this? And you need to be able to go back to that. I will say, while you're still at your job, whether it's 9 to 5 or 9 to 9, because some people work 12 hours, guilty
Mhm.
previously, you literally try to see what resources are there that you can leverage in terms of not only the resources, the subject matter experts, because a lot of people want to help you along your journey. So look for trusted advisors and people that you can connect with, that you can leverage, bounce ideas off of now or even in the future. So make sure you build up all your contacts, your relationships, etc., because some of these same people will actually invest into your company and or be clients or whatever the case may be. And for those who have already, for those who are back to for those who are considering taking the leap, run your numbers. Don't run your numbers multiple times. Have somebody else look at the numbers for you and validate those numbers for you. And excuse me, consider all of the other additional expenses that you will incur. Your additional healthcare expenses, your self-employment tax as a business owner. There's a whole bunch of things that we can help you guys with to let you know, like, okay, this is definitely coming. Like, don't feel like you have to go out there and blind, because there's a whole bunch of other entrepreneurs who've done it. See if you can get into certain accelerators from now. Surround yourself till you develop that ecosystem of entrepreneurs, so you're not out there on your own. It can feel lonely, but it doesn't have to be lonely if you surround yourself with the right people. And for those who are already on that route, two
Mhm.
words: be encouraged. No, 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 no. Just joking around. I'm serious though. Sorry, I'm still congested from a cold. But be encouraged. Listen, if you feel that you've been called and this is a purpose that you have to do, then you have to definitely stay the course, and push through and persevere. Maybe look into like partnerships. Maybe look into leveraging like other people in your network to see how they can help you with your marketing, to help to see if they can help you, um, get more clients, see if how you can further expose yourself and get more exposure and things of that nature. But when,
Yeah.
as it relates to finances and money, I would definitely encourage everyone to, there are free resources for at this day and age. There are resources everywhere if you want to get financial help at every level. Like we just did presentations with the Brooklyn Public Library. They have a level up program where they partnered with Goldman Sachs, and they do a 10-week cohort group where they're putting people are going through all types of programs, and some of these people are aspiring entrepreneurs and transitioning. And so all of this is free. So there's many free programs to get the financial help that you need. And then there's some that are marginal as well. But if you can, definitely take advantage of getting the match in your 401k if you're still working at work, at least up to the match. And then investing additional money in a brokerage account, having a strategy. If you're able to leverage other assets, rent out some area in your home or rent out some properties that you have to bring in additional income. And so everybody's situation is circumstantial, but I would definitely leave people with, be encouraged, run your numbers, see where you need additional financial help. And if you have any questions, definitely reach out to us.
Speaking of financial help, what services does Mass Financial Management offer, and who are they
Yeah.
most ideal for?
Yeah, so Mass Financial Management offers, so I literally offer investment management services. We offer investment management services. We perform holistic financial plans. And so people come with all kinds of questions, from insurance related questions, retirement planning, investment planning, tax
Hmm.
optimization. And so we help in individuals, families, and businesses.
Got it. Um, Thinking about like your clientele, right? What's been one of your most memorable client success stories?
Uh, I mean, I mentioned like the transform life is literally seeing people go from disorganized financially to just like they know where their things are in one place, and helping them to achieve their goals, right? Like I mean several clients within a year bought homes, right? And they were just like, oh, this wouldn't have been possible without your services. We thank you so much, and things like that. But they did the work. They did the work that was what based on the recommendations, right? And so I love to see success stories like that. I love to see success stories where people are reaching their goals to pay for their kids to go to college, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. People to reach your goal to be able to retire in the way that you want to retire. Those are success stories where it's like, okay, you're actually able to follow through and execute on the plan. And then look, there's reality hits, right? So plans have to be recalibrated, right? Because markets shift, things happen. Somebody may lose, a spouse may lose a job, things come up, right? And so we get to see how people adjust and recalibrate, or change, or say, you know what, I'm actually going to forego that and I'm going to do this, right? I'm going to work maybe an extra 2 years here, or I'm going to do this. And so just watching that mindset shift from the I gotta have it now to the like it's all about how I'm gonna meet my goals. Like
Mhm.
that's like satisfying.
I swear you have the best personality and demeanor for this like work. Like what y'all see, like Christina is like this all the time, right? I don't care what kind of craziness you come to her with, even with your finances, like she's not moved. It's just like, okay, let's figure it out. Right?
Yeah.
You have the perfect like demeanor for this kind of work.
You
So I
think
know
so?
you
That's awesome.
do I need to give my testimony again?
No,
Do I need a megaphone this time?
I appreciate it. To God be the glory.
Um, you were telling me about a wealth accelerator that you
Yes,
have. Tell us
yes,
more about
yes.
that.
Yes, yes, yes. So for those who are interested, so myself and Mina Black. So Mina Black is a wealth strategist. She's also an angel investor, an entrepreneur, and Miss New York City 2019. Right. So she's coming right with the hits as well. And so we're going to facilitate a 12-week accelerator to help you own your way to millionaire status. And so, if you're interested in learning how to buy businesses or franchises, or if you're interested in building up income generating assets, or learning about stock market strategies, or even the requirements of becoming an angel investor, how much money you need, because it's not as much money as people think, even buying a franchise, you get franchises less than $5,000 and own them, right? How do I perform the due diligence over these things? Like, what do I really need to know from and actually get down in the weeds? We'll be doing an accelerator, and that will kick off on February 21st. So that's when it will start, and it'll be 12 weeks, and it'll be 2 hours. So from 6 to 8 p.m. each Wednesday. And so we can provide Danielle with the information to share it with you guys in her group. But you don't want to miss that session. And it's awesome, awesome, awesome.
We'll definitely drop. Is it a what's the link? If it's short, I can just type it in real quick. But I'll go back through wherever everywhere that this is posted or streamed and make
Hmm.
sure it's. But what's the link, Chris?
I'll send you the link.
Okay.
But we hope to see you guys. We hope to see you guys there.
Oh, matter of fact, Chris, do you see the chat? You can drop it. Can you drop it in the chat?
I'm gonna drop it in the chat right now.
Okay, that's perfect.
I think I see the chat. How do I
We
put
got you, Ty. We got you. Ty said, send that link.
how do
Make
I
sure y'all signed up.
where do I put it? Where do I go, D?
It's a box at the bottom. The
Nothing's
no.
on my bottom except I see me.
Okay, your view may look different. Do you see host chat at all?
I see pub host chat. Yes, I got it now.
Click public. Click public and then put it under public.
It
So
won't
that
let
way.
me put it. It won't let me put it into public, so I sent it to
Okay.
you.
Send it to me and then I'll get it.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I can't add it into public for whatever reason. Sorry, guys.
No,
All
it's
right,
okay.
thank you.
It's okay. I'll make sure. I want us to have this here. So y'all give me a second. I'm gonna grab it because I know you sent it to me somewhere else too, Chris. I'm gonna go grab it from not go, but I'm gonna grab it from there. But while we
I'm
still
gonna just
have
send it to you on top so you have it.
okay, perfect. But I also want you to let everyone know. So before I do this, do like what's the process? If somebody was interested in working with you in a deeper, richer capacity on like the MFM side, I know you got the Wealth Accelerator. That's great too. They can do both, right? But what's the process if someone once was interested in your services for MFM? Is it like a discovery call? Like what is that?
Yeah, so we would set up an intro call first and see, if I'm for you and you're for me, right? And so you can actually interview me, and I tell everyone you should interview multiple wealth advisors or financial consultants, whoever you're working with, because you need to work with someone that you trust and you have a good rapport with, and someone who
Mm-hmm.
you feel has your best interests at heart. And so that call is for you to go through that process as well. And I hone in a bit more on the services provided. And so that's a free introductory call. And so if you're looking to reach out to me, you can contact me through multiple ways. My website, the company's name is Mass Financial Management. The website is massfinancialmanagement.com. In addition to that, you can email us at info@massfinancialmanagement.com. You can also follow me on LinkedIn. My name, Christina Massalay, or on LinkedIn, Mass Financial Management. If you're on the gram, you can find Mass Fin Management. So it's MASSFINMGMT. And so, I mean, there's multiple ways, but reach out to us through the website, through the email, and we'll get you.
All that are here, especially Ty, if you're still here, I just dropped the link in the chat. If you can, do me a favor and give me another thumbs up or something and let me know that you see the links there. But I'm still going to make sure that everywhere this is streaming, I'm going to go back and make sure after the fact too. But if I could get some feedback in the chat, if I'm able to see it, then if it comes through, that's great too. I also dropped the Mass Financial Management website link there too.
Perfect.
Let me see. There was one other thing I wanted to know. Oh, so you know the work that I do. This is like purpose work. Purpose is my jam. Purpose is what freed me from my 9 to 5, and helped me. Okay, Ty, perfect. Thank you. And helped me to take my leap, like with confidence. Like I knew that I was onto something, but it's the thing that allowed me to break up with the work that I was doing in the career that I had created for myself and pivot into something totally different, but something, not just anything. It was something that brought me joy, something that I knew I was gifted in, as well as something that like legit helped other people. And
Yeah.
so I asked all my guests, and I know everybody's in different places on their purpose journey. Some people aren't even on a purpose journey, and that's okay, and there is no judgment. But I cannot let you leave this live without asking you, what's your purpose, and do you feel like you're aligned with it?
Yes. Oh wow. I mean, this
Don't
deep.
start preaching,
We
Pastor
getting
Master,
deep. We
okay?
getting deep at 7 p.m. No. So for me, honestly, I'm similar to Danielle in the fact that I always like helping people, right? And I come from a family who are givers, naturally givers, like to the point like they will literally give you something off of their back. And so we've grown up like that. And so if I know something, I want to help the next person. Hey, I know this, and so I want to spread the word. And so I know that I'm in my purpose because literally I enjoy what I do. And so what I'm doing is I'm helping people. And not only am I helping people to with their finances, I'm helping people to reach their goals. I'm helping people to create generational wealth for the next generation. And I'm also helping people to further their walk with Christ in some ways as well, because there's some people that just like, hey, I mean, like I said, I pray with my clients, right? Pray for the clients also, even if I'm not in a meeting with them. I think we all need prayer, regardless of which background that we come from, and that's just who I am. And so it's just like I'm literally able to do all the things that I love. I'm able to help people. Able to help people to transform their lives, and I'm also able to just create some kingdom work while I'm doing it. So it's a beautiful thing.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that. Did you share what's the cost of the accelerator?
So the cost of the accelerator is a very good cost.
I think so too.
The cost of the accelerator. So where we tell people like if you go to someone like for advice in this field, you're gonna pay anywhere from like 150 an hour upwards of 400, $500 an hour. So we're putting this on. It's the 3 month program. It's $77 per month. So you take 77 and multiply it by three, and that's less money than what you pay eating out in one sitting in New York City, at least, for one meal. And so that's the cost of the accelerator, and all the information is in there right at the bottom of the link that Danielle sent out.
Hey, listen, it sounds like a no-brainer to me. Chris, can I tell a little bit of your business?
What you gonna say, Danielle? What you gonna say, Danielle?
Yo, listen, I have been trying to get Christina to go live with me for a very long time. Okay? A very long time. And but I know there's a time and a season for everything. There's a time to plant the seed, there's a time to water it, and there's harvest season. And so Christina caught me by surprise. And this was maybe like 2 weeks ago that we spoke. And it just came up and I asked her again, thinking that it's just like, oh yeah, we'll do it one day. And she was like, let's do it. So and this is Christina's, this is your business I'm telling. I'm gonna ask for forgiveness. This is our first time going live, y'all.
My first time going live.
Like, isn't she a natural? Oh my gosh. Chris, this was, first of all, I hope that this is the first of many that we do. I know that there's so much to talk about around wealth and money and financial management, especially for like in the space and I'm in, working with entrepreneurs, serving entrepreneurs and mid-career professionals who hit a wall, making good money, and then might be looking at their money funny, and that good money might be keeping them stuck, and all of these things, right? So I hope that this is just the initial live with DNC. First of all, wait, Ty's talking to us.
He
Ty
wants to
said do
know,
it daily. Well, he wants to know.
he
What will
wants
be
to know the
the
deliverable. Yeah,
yeah.
so there will be homework assignments. So the way that the accelerator is run is like we'll be doing sessions and we'll break up everyone into smaller groups as well, into pods. And so everyone will have the opportunity to do homework assignments. So for instance, when we're going through how to buy a business, we're literally doing like it's like as if this is like a case study, right? And like how do you perform the due diligence over that? So in the deliverable of the accelerator is more deep dives into each of these classes along with homework assignments to reinforce what we've gone over in the class so that everyone actually owns that information, like really retains it, if that makes any sense. Ty, does that answer your question?
If anybody knows, like I know, I pray that anybody who has the slightest inkling of interest gets in on it now before these good sisters change their mind
I
and
know.
decide to charge what is worth, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Praise
That's
the
so
Lord.
funny.
Chris, this has been amazing. If you're tuning in here, if you live, thank you so much for being here. Ty, I know you're here. Kansas, I know you were here. There's a bunch of people that tuned in and have engaged in different ways. I appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all. Here's what I want to know. If there are other related topics that you are interested in, comment under the video wherever you may be watching it and let us know, and that'll help me entice Chris to come back on live and do this thing more often, okay? Because I'll have some backing with with my next request. Chris, I love you to life. You heard me.
I
I
love
am
you too, D. Love you too. Love
ever
you more.
grateful for this conversation. I
Thank you.
know that I know, even if I don't get any feedback from anybody, I know that this will touch who it's supposed to touch. And it will do what it's supposed to do and like permeate the wavelengths just based on your obedience and your yes. I'm rooting for you and MFM. I don't know if you said this though, Chris. You took the leap. Did you tell us that you took the leap? I feel like I know that, but I don't know
I
that you said
did.
it.
I did take the leap. So be sensitive to be sensitive to what's going on around you and things like that. So for me, I had resigned, and then the head of my department had asked me to consider going part time. So I prayed on it, got confirmation that I would do part time to make the
Mhm.
story short. And then I ended up staying for a year and a half. And then it came to a point I was like, oh no, y'all getting a better deal than I'm getting. I'm working, I'm getting paid part time, but I'm working more than part time. So then I ended up actually resigning. And then on my way out, one of the businesses that I covered, they actually ended up hiring me under my business at Credit Suisse as a consultant, like under Mass Financial Management. So I still was at Credit Suisse, but Mass Financial Management was literally under that. And so I was there for about 13 months, and so that was my first corporate client. The so it was just like I'm like, hey, I could not have planned that, and so I could not have planned that. So I've been on my own for a bit, and but And provision, literally, like I started with, like when I heard Jehovah Jireh, like provision has been happening every step of the way. Even when I don't know where provision's coming from, it has been coming. So full-time mass financial management, shops open. Anyone interested, definitely reach out, give me a call, shout me a
And
holler.
last question. Ty asked, where are you located?
I'm in New York. I'm in New York, but I do travel and I do Zooms and Microsoft Teams meetings and all those other ways of WebEx and different things like that, ways to connect. So
Got you. Got you. Well, if you happen to have caught this live on the replay, do me a favor and let us know by typing replay in the comments wherever you're watching it, and I'll come back through as always and show you some love. I appreciate you if you made it this far in the video, and don't forget, let us know in the comments as well what other topics around wealth and financial planning and financial management that you're interested in, because I'm definitely going to use that to get Chris back on the live, so we can have more conversations and you can have your questions answered by her as well. I appreciate y'all and I look forward to the next one. Have a good one.